This is from Patrick Bet-David. And, recently, he said, the world is safer if the current Iranian regime falls. Okay, isn't he the Iranian immigrant who lives in America now? He's on Fox News, American News, saying, go to war with the country I'm from.
The Iranian people have been wanting to get away from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard for 47 years. For 47 years, the #1 candidate that everybody would talk about that could pull this off is the son of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, which his name is Reza Pahlavi. Everybody wants him to go back and do it. He's supposed to be the savior. The only difference between the last 47 years and today is there's a guy at the White House that they fear in Iran. When I mean fear, they know his threats are not regular threats. There are certain people you fight when he tells you, if you say something, I'm going to hit you. And you're like, no, this guy's full of it. When President Trump tells you he's going to do something, he does it. Iranians remember when he took out Qasem Soleimani, and they realized this is not a regular guy to play around with. But here's what I will tell you. Emotions are very high right now, very, very high right now. And people around the world who are Iranians that want to go back and see their country, all of us remember the history of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, how amazing of a job he did. He gets criticized a lot. But to us Iranians who came from there, I was born during that time, and my family stayed in Iran for 11 more years, so I lived.
Hey, Patrick Bet-David, it's not our responsibility to fix a country you don't like. How about that? Americans don't need to keep paying for your regime change. Okay, you had Netanyahu on your podcast. That was strange. That was weird. If people want to make those connections here and say that maybe he's pushing that propaganda, maybe he just hates the Islamic regime in Iran. Regardless, I don't give a fuck. Americans, we need to start telling these people we don't give a fuck. It's not our job to fix your country. If you want to go fix it, you do it. You strap up. Go join an army. Go on the front lines. We're not going to keep on wasting money, letting people like that suck our country dry of resources and dollars and troops to fix the Iranian regime. So? Why is that our job? Why is that our job? Why we need to go to war for you? Why?
In Iran under Khomeini for 11 years, but here's what's happening that media is not talking about. We're hearing reporting about 200 people. Why would Khamenei and Pezeshkian turn off the internet for 3 days? The numbers I'm getting is 2,000, 4,000, doctors, hospitals sending reports saying these numbers are higher than it is. And there's a couple things going on, but I'll pause here. There may be a follow-up question from you guys.
Well, one of the things I think is kind of interesting, and I'd be interested if you have noticed this, I feel like many of the outlets, mainstream media outlets, seem to be ignoring this story. Do you see that? And if they are, why are they ignoring the story?
It is a complete blackout on the Iranian, well, politically it goes against what they're doing and what they're standing for, but the reality of it is you got nearly 4,000 people, according to reports that are coming from there. Here's what they're not talking about. This may be the most important thing. They're burning down mosques. Why are you burning down mosques?
Okay, your friend Netanyahu's burning down mosques in Israel. How many mosques are they? How many? Aren't you Christian, Patrick Bet-David? You're the Christian Iranian, right? Or you're Christian Arab guy, right? Christian Persian, right? Netanyahu, who you host on your podcast, was bombing churches, killing Christians in Palestine. You didn't say a word. Now you care? Now you care about religious buildings being burned down? Then why'd you have this guy on your podcast?
You see a lot of people holding out signs saying, I'm Persian, but I'm not an Islamist. You hear all these candidates about, hey, I'm going to be able to save Iran. I'm going to be able to do this. And the media not wanting to cover something like this. The most important thing.
And also, PBD, the former CIA deputy director, the former CIA director, Mike Pompeo, he said himself, Mossad is the one walking side by side these protesters. He said himself, Mossad's the one throwing the bombs. It's essentially insinuating that's who's bombing the mosque. That's who's applying the Molotovs. And it makes sense. Who else is better with explosives than PBD's best friend, the Netanyahu and the Israelis? Thank you for the 10. Can you tell me what the protests are actually about in Iran? Just seems too convenient. Zionists want Iran gone, and these protests are so bad, America needs to intervene. Yeah. It's just out of nowhere, Khamenei is the most evil person ever, and now it's the time to intervene. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Because the protests like this, right, they need to get America's support. They need to get Americans to think that it's so bad. And PBD's right out on the news pushing this propaganda. They need to convince the people that it's so evil that we need to step in. But at all of these protests, there's always federal influence. There's always intelligence agencies there supplying the Molotovs, egging people on, using mob mentality for their own gain. You ever see those people at a major protest? There's some guy in a cloak or whatever.
Muslims were killed by the Iranian Gulf.
There's some guy cloaked up, pushing wheelbarrows in, supplying the bombs and the bricks and the rocks. These are paid instigators. Someone at the TTS said the Iranian government, they killed Muslims. Regardless, I don't understand how you don't see the point. America has enough problems of our own. It's not our job to continue to make the same mistakes and try to be America's world, be the world police. Someone in the chat earlier said, oh, you've never seen Team America in a show. I have. America, fuck yeah, coming to save. When did that come out? 15 years ago? Learn from the mistakes. It is not our job to fix the world. We are so flawed as it is. How many times do I need to repeat this before? But these guys are bad, so? Are we the good guys? What makes America the good guys? Let's break it down for a second because people keep saying that. What makes us the good guys? Tell me. The fact that we covered up the Epstein list? Vietnam, Iraq, 1 million innocent Iraqis killed, the weapons of mass destruction that were never found. But we need to stop the terrorists. Okay, what is terrorism? It's people who kill someone for religious or political motives. Isn't that what America and Israel do all over the world always? Why don't they call that terrorism? What makes America the moral authority of the world? Give me one reason. Because we've been wrong over and over again. Vietnam, Iraq twice. How many times do we need to make this mistake and be like, oh, wait, actually, maybe we should pipe down? We have not shown a good example of being the moral authority besides World War II. It's been almost 100 years. And remember, the good guys always win. The good guys are always the winners of the war always push that narrative.
Right now is the courageous Iranian people who are on the streets going and doing their part. If we do it right, the combination, remember, sometimes you got to realize God is sometimes does certain things in its own magical way. This is the 47th year of the Islamic revolution that happened under Khomeini. And this is the 47th president. If the stars are lined up, if God is watching over us, this may be the first year in 47 years that Iran could be free with a big help by the president of the United States of America, which is President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, I just don't. This guy he's getting far too ambitious.